Hey, what's up guys? Kevin the Tech Ninja here, and over the past month I've been using the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 side by side. And now that the month is over, I settled in and I'm actually using the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Although the 11 Pro non-Max is better in the hand and makes everything easier, I did miss the screen real estate when I was doing things like playing games and watching video. But even then, with all my testing, I found myself going back to the iPhone 11 just because it was easier to hold in the hand and I think it's the perfect size. Now that I came to this revelation, I really think it's hard to make it a point to tell someone to spend more money on the Pro version of it. This is the iPhone 11 Pro, Apple's latest flagship. I won't go over specs and discuss all the things that you most likely already know. Let me talk about the experience and things that I've ran into over this month of using the phone. So yes, the phone is expensive, starting at $999, or you can tack on an extra $100 for the Max. And take it from me, 64 gigabytes is not enough. The last iPhone I bought was 64 gigabyte and I switched over to it to be my main phone, and I was always fighting with space issues because I'm taking pictures, I'm doing video, and I always just ran out of space. So with that being said, you need to upgrade to the 256 gigabyte variant, and that one will tack on another $150. So in total, the purchase for my iPhone that I use every single day is $1,249, or $1,149 if you want the smaller version. And that's a lot of money to be asking someone to pay for a phone, whereas the 11 is a much cheaper phone, and you can actually get 128 gigabyte, which is a happy medium from 64 to 256. Also starting at $700 or $749 if you want the extra space, it's really hard to justify spending all that money for a phone that's almost the same quality. So if I didn't convince you to get the 11 over the Pro, let me tell you my experiences with the iPhone 11 Pro. The iPhone 11 Pro has a matte design with a gloss lens housing on the back, whereas the 11 is the reverse. It has a gloss body and a matte lens housing. And a big shout out to my sponsor, Dbrand. Both of these phones can have a Dbrand skin, so you can essentially get whatever color you want, and even if it's not glossy, it still isn't super easy to hold. Hit the links down below to Dbrand your device. As I mentioned, the Pro does come in two different sizes, 5.8 or 6.5 on the Max. The display is called Super Retina XDR OLED, which is fancy talk for OLED. A simple way to put, OLED turns off pixels that are supposed to be showing black, which in turn gets you a deeper black, and the contrast in comparison to color is much greater, so overall you get a better picture. And most flagship phones has this technology these days, so Apple isn't doing anything different, but Apple's iPhone 11, the non-Pro version, doesn't have OLED. But to me, it actually looks just as good. The screen is very bright and the colors are great. And I think it's on par with some of the displays out there. And that goes for the Pro version too. Both of these screens look very similar. Now, side by side, you will see the advantage of OLED when you compare the two phones, but at the end of the day, most people will not even notice the difference. Now, the screen packs in a ton of specs. So you have things like HDR, Dolby Vision, you have a wide color gamut, but all that means is that the screen looks good no matter what circumstance you're looking at, and that is true for both phones. Performance is great. As expected, gaming, running apps, everything is fast. Also, battery life is great. I don't even think about battery day to day. By the time I go to bed, I'm still at around 35 to 40% of battery life. Heck, just last week I was out of town and I didn't even consider battery life as a thing. Normally I have like a spare battery bank, or I have a battery case or something like that when I'm not gonna be home at night, but I just went and didn't even think about it at all. Now, the main draw of the Pro over the regular 11 is gonna be that extra focal length. So the Pro gives you three lenses. You have a 13mm ultra wide, a 26mm wide, and a 52mm telephoto. The 52mm lens is the one that the iPhone 11 does not have. And I find myself using the ultra wide lens more than the 2x lens. I don't even use the 2x lens often at all. So the 2x lens is something I can live without. And beyond that, there isn't anything different with the cameras. The stabilization is really good on all three lenses. Here are some clips I shot handheld with no additional gimbals or software adjustments. Now for video, obviously it's not perfect. There are times when you switch lenses where it does a digital zoom, then it switches over to optical. So when you initially do a zoom in, it's not as crisp as it would be using that extra lens. And then a few seconds later, it snaps in using the right lens. So that can be a little bit awkward when you're recording video and switching lenses on the fly. But beyond that minor little inconvenience right there, I think everything else is great. Portrait mode for the most part is a hit, but there are a little bit of misses. So after the picture, you can adjust the f-stop to make it a perfect picture. So my son has very thin hair because he's 10 months old, and the phone has issues with it. Sometimes it sees it as background and not foreground. But in settings, I'm able to adjust the f-stop and I can get everything back in focus. Now, Apple did pay attention to people with glasses, because before, if you had glasses, you do a portrait shot, it will make the glasses in focus, but your face out of focus. They did fix that. So you could take a picture with glasses and it counts that as part of your face, and it does a good job at blurring out the background. I will say, even though the camera isn't perfect, it's pretty darn close. There is software that's built into the phone and also third-party apps that allows you to get some flexibility out of this camera that you don't see on other devices. So take a look at this app, Retouch. I'm able to literally remove things out of the picture. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. Then you have Focus, which allows you to adjust the focus after you take the picture. So in this example, my son with the wispy hair, I'm able to move the focus back a little bit and then still maintain that shallow depth of field while keeping everything I want in focus. So not much else has changed on the hardware side of things. Software, we do have iOS 13, and the rollout has been pretty buggy, to be quite honest, but they're fixing things as we go along, and hopefully things will continue to get better, but I will update you guys in about 6 months on that. But anyways, the iPhone 11 Pro is amazing, but the price compared to the 11 just isn't worth it. I think the iPhone 11 is the biggest competition to the iPhone 11 Pro, and then you consider that price, there's no reason to buy the iPhone 11 Pro, being quite honest. So anyways, for those people out there that need to have that 2x zoom and you want the largest screen possible, then of course the iPhone 11 Pro is going to be the choice. But I think for majority users, just having a great iPhone with the newest chip, the newest OS, and still a really great camera and then that wide angle lens, I think that's going to be the winner for most people. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. Want to know what yours are? Sound off down below. Kevin the Tech Ninja here. Have a great day. Peace.